It's Castaway Cay Day.
Hey there, Man Fam. We are at Disney's private island today for our last day aboard the Disney Treasure.
They're cleaning the balconies right now. We've been told not to go out there, which is why you're just seeing it through the window. But in a second, you're gonna see it, on the island. Today, we are not only going to Castaway, but we're gonna have a little fun later with a game you may be familiar with. It's also Moana night, and as Alan said, our last day on the cruise, so come with us. This morning for a light breakfast before we got off the island, we did the room service door hanger. These are provided in your room and you can get a continental breakfast, things like pastries, cereals, coffee. Just fill this out with what you'd like, set it on your door hanger before 3 a.m. and it'll arrive at the desired time so you can have a lovely patio breakfast to kick your day off. This is great for Castaway Day or like early excursions. This might be the best wall on the ship. It's down getting on to deck 1, but it's Walt and his wife Lillian traveling. And I love it.
Carrie and Mickey Mouse.
I love it. Hello, Captain Hook. How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm honored to meet you.
Well,
I
he
have a
likes
parent.
the jewelry.
Oh, you want the jewelry?
Let's be careful. He's been looking for the treasure. He sent me out somewhere over there, and we haven't
Not
seen
going
it
without
yet.
a fight. I left my sword on the ship. Yeah. Otherwise, we could do it. I'll go get it. I'll come back. No need to bring towels off the ship with you. They hand them out right there. There's also a spot if you want to buy coolers of water, you can. Or if you bring your cooler, I believe they'll put ice in it for you. Also, always love this Easter egg of Tomorrow Doc. Little LOL for Josh Tomorrow. I don't have internet connection right now because I'm off the ship, so I can't look up his official full title, but I believe he's like president of the Disney parks. He's very high up. You know who he is. Hello, Daisy. You look fabulous. I love your beach outfit.
Fabulous too. Oh, yeah.
Oh, queen. I love it. Are those new shoes? Oh my gosh. Such a diva. Even in sand. Yeah, how should we pose? Like this? Okay. Oh my goodness, we've been off the island for like 30 seconds. We've already seen Captain Hook and Daisy Duck looking fabulous as we head towards the main part of the island. Now, this right here, very soon after you get off the ship.
Oh, Captain Bob Iger.
Captain Bob Iger's here? Wow, I think he would be busier, but nope, he's here. Man, I'll never forget how quickly they changed that. Scratched off Chapek and threw in Iger right there. It was real convenient that they didn't have to do the first name too. But right here is called Marge's Barges. And this is where you'll see a lot of the excursions meet, a lot of the like more adventurious excursions. The adventurious excursions meet there.
That's a real word, yeah, that's a real word.
That's where we went for parasailing. That's where you might go for some of the boating excursions, etc. So if your excursion info says meet at Marge's Barges, that's right there. And then there is a tram stop right here that can take you to the main portion of Castaway Cay. It's also a short walk. And then once you get to the main portion, the family beach, there is also a shuttle that you have to take, or a bike, I guess, if you would like to go to Serenity Bay, which is the adults only section of the island.
Now, we've been to Castaway Cay numerous times and been on a ton of their different excursions, from stingrays to the aqua bikes to parasailing to regular bikes, and also visiting the adult sections of the beach. But we're going to keep today a little bit more low-key. Maybe we go snorkeling, maybe we explore the beach. Who's to say what the day holds for us? But I'm just excited to be here on Castaway Cay.
We've made it to the main part of the island. This is where you've got Scuttle's Cove, kids activities. There's a teen beach hangout area too. This is where you're gonna see a lot more characters, like Mickey Mouse is out right now. You've got the activities beach right here with the big trikes. This is where the stingrays are. I just saw people getting on jet skis. I see banana boats out there. And then a little bit further up, you have the main family beach. Goofy, does he look cute?
He's wearing his fishing outfit.
Goofy's gonna go fishing. Well, he does know the perfect cast.
I like his water shoes.
Yeah, he showed them to us last time because these are still relatively new outfits that our friends are all wearing.
Well, your frozen garden is a
Are you gonna go fishing?
There.
You do know the perfect cast. Are you bringing Max?
Nice.
Yeah.
fishing.
Oh, snorkel.
Snorkeling as well. Oh, that is very exciting. What do you think that's a fish?
All right, got to meet Goofy. Love meeting my pal Goof. Yuck. And we are now headed to oh gosh, I can't even say it. Now we are headed to She Sells Seashells. This is the merchandise location here at this section of the beach. There's actually one further down that's called By the Seashore, just to complete the rhyme. And this is where you have a whole bunch of very exclusive merchandise you can only find here at Castaway Cay. Like, see me chillin'.
I like this shirt, but how do you feel about Goofy's grippers?
I don't love it. I don't love it. It's not my favorite thing I've ever seen, Molly, I gotta be honest with you. It looks like there's actually some new merchandise that's made its way here. For example, the Mine seagulls with all the signposts directing to the different areas of Castaway Cay. I personally am a big fan of this Mount Rustmore shirt. I know Molly mentioned earlier before I turned on and started recording that she was also a fan of that. If you're a big Maui fan, you're welcome for the tides, the sun, and the sky.
Also note, they moved the Castaway Cay 5K stuff. This used to be in the other store, but I'm seeing it in here now. I haven't seen that style of the mug. There's a pin, kids shirt, adult shirt. If you're the kind of person that gets up early to go jogging, running, if you will, on your vacation, you can do that because it's a free 5K you can sign up for around the island. And you know what? I'm proud of you. I'm not gonna do it, but if you do it, just know that I'm proud of you.
We're not here to yuck any yums. You do you.
Good for you.
I'm cheering from you. Probably asleep in my dreams, but I am cheering for you.
You did it. Congrats. I did it one time. It was horrible. I did finish it. I ran all 5K, all 5 of those Ks. But at one point you have to run down the used to be airplane landing strip where the planes that definitely weren't carrying.
They were carrying pixie dust, Molly. The plane's carrying pixie dust.
Pixie dust.
Whoa.
You have to run down that where the path to Serenity Bay is on that airplane strip. And I mean, it's hot. So good for you if you do it. I'm proud of you. But me and my knees could not handle it.
Now, on top of the standard merchandise like shirts and the like, they also sell a number of basic necessities like sunscreen and the like if you have left yours on the ship or just forgotten it altogether.
Alan is currently suggesting we go shoot hoops at In the Shade Games, which is where there are games in the shade. We could play pool, we could play giant checkers. Do you know what I've learned?
What?
Playing checkers 2 times now in the last couple months, which is 2 times more than I've played in my adult life, I think.
Okay.
I don't like checkers. I think it's really boring. If you love checkers, good news. You can play that. It's not the game for me. There's also a little marketplace here with some Bahamian goods made by actual Bahamians and local vendors that come out to the island for this. So that's a fun thing to check out, as well as the Disney shops. You can also get your hair braided, but for some reason Alan won't get his braided.
Yeah, well, I can't imagine why.
We also passed the Conked Out bar, and around the corner here is the Heads Up bar. If you would like any kind of tropical bevy or beer or any other thing your heart may desire. And then there's another bar at Serenity Bay. It's interesting to me that they're selling the Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point merchandise. Not all of it, but a little bit. This is Mickey and Minnie and their outfits exclusive to that island. That's Disney's newest destination that opened up last year. This is also some of that collection. It was made by a Bahamian fashion designer. He designed not only the character costumes, but merchandise. So I think it's interesting they sell it here. I guess we're still in the Bahamas, but I am surprised to see it. We've made it to the second little small concourse thing. This is where the bikes are for bike rentals, which was shockingly fun. I must admit, I was not into it at first, but it ended up being really fun. This is where you've got Olaf's Summertime Freezes, where you can purchase like smoothies and slushy type drinks. Woohoo, big summer blowout. This is also where that second merchandise shop is, as well as flippers and floats, where you can pick up the items, flippers and floats.
In the spirit of our wandering, we're going to go down Pelican Point to the Pelican Point Overlook, which, oh, look at the beautiful Disney treasure just nestled there at dock here. But anyway, we've never gone down to this section of the island before, so we're going to continue our spirit of exploration and adventure that we have taken from the Disney treasure and head down here to the Overlook. Look at that cool, is it like a water dump circa the Mad Hatter's hat at the Grand Floridian?
I'm not getting in that.
But why?
I might go snorkeling. But the idea of just dumping a bunch of water on my head does not appeal to me.
That's, yep, that sounds fair.
That's exactly what's happening. If I was a youth, this would be so fun. Oh, also over there is another bar called the Sand Bar. So funny.
I get it.
The Heads Up Bar. Wow, Alan, what a good eyeball.
What? Only one.
Only one good eyeball.
Yeah, the other one, useless.
You're a one eyeball though. It nailed it. Because somehow I didn't realize you could come over here. We've never gone this far. We stopped at Floats and Flippers. But man, Heads Up Bar at Pelican Point. Beautiful. Look at this view. Oh my gosh, I suddenly need a tropical cocktail. I'm not one for frozen drinks normally, but I think today's the day. Honestly, I don't think this is always open. I think we've seen it before and it hasn't been open because maybe they base it on how many people are on the island.
We're on the cruise.
Yeah, like this is a full cruise. But I know I've seen this structure from the water, but I don't think I've ever seen it open. Or maybe I'm just not observant. Either way, this is awesome and beautiful. Legolas, what do your elven eyes see?
We're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
Guard. You know what I see?
What?
I see them testing out the lifeboats, which, fun fact about those, typically lifeboats were orange. Then they wanted to use the iconic Mickey colors.
I'm getting a drink.
When in Castaway, you drink out of the coconut mugs. I don't make the rule, but it just seemed like we needed them for nothing else for this shot right here.
I mean, just guys, look at this shot.
This is beautiful.
Whoa.
Like I said, I'm not normally a frozen drinks girly, but if there's ever a time to drink one, it's right now. So I got the signature conch cooler. This is like the OG signature drink on Castaway. It's their version of kind of like a pina colada, but it is light and dark rums blended with coconut cream. And the bartender, I've had it before, but he said it's not too sweet and that it'll be great. So I'm excited to sip in.
And I got the Pelican Mule. This is signature island fruits muddled with Ciroc pineapple and then some ginger beer over top. This is gonna give me tropical without necessarily being a frozen drink. I'm looking forward to it. Cheers.
Captain Jack would approve of this because you can actually taste the rum. Where's all the rum gone? Into this cocktail. It's definitely sweet and it definitely tastes like coconut, so you have to like that flavor, and I couldn't drink more than one, but it's not so sugary, cloying sweet like a lot of tropical frozen drinks are. Honestly, this is a mood, and it feels like I'm drinking a coconut smoothie, and coconut's a fruit, so this is a healthy, balanced breakfast.
This mule, while you live in that state of denial, this mule is very tasty, not sweet at all. Just a little bit of the pineapple flavor. On my first sip, I got a chunk of pineapple. So talk about a balanced breakfast. I got a piece of fruit actually entering my mouth.
Follow us for more health
Yeah,
tips.
100%. And then a little bit of ginger beer, some spice from the ginger. This is a really balanced cocktail that's just tropical enough, but not sickly sweet.
And of course, if you want something like a Miami Vice, which is half pina colada, half strawberry daiquiri, you just want a strawberry daiquiri, you want a margarita, they have a blender. They can go nuts. Cocoa nuts.
I'm sorry you had to see that.
Look, little fishes. It's kind of hard to see them because the water's moving, obviously, but there's little striped tropical fishes swimming around. Oh, and a yellowfish. Also, there's these very noisy, they're quiet right now, but they were really noisy a few seconds ago, birds, but they're kind of cute. They're like little fluffy boys. This is so lovely. Okay, so the weather has been perfect for sitting out
Yeah, we've seen multiple people get into and then out of the water shivering.
because it's chilly in there. And I'm weak when it comes to getting wet. I'm like a level 3 at best at wanting to get wet. So no snorkeling for us today. One thing I will say, the weather has been pretty good this cruise. It's not been super warm. It's nice to sit out, but it's not like super hot. And it was kind of misty, windy one day. The best weather we've ever had, I think, was in like April, May.
Or then towards the end of the year, like October-ish.
Yeah, September, October. So if you come in the summer, it's gonna be really, really hot, most of these tropical places. And if you come in the winter like we did, you run the risk of it being like not like hot enough to want to do some of these activities, or even having like rain like we have. So just keep that in mind when trying to book your trip.
Now, as far as food options on the island go, on this side you have cookies and cookies too. These serve traditional barbecue style items. You've got burgers, chickens, some corn on the cob, potato salad, stuff like that. Now, if you head to Serenity Bay, the adult section, you'll get Serenity Bay Barbecue, which has all of those same items, plus some zhuzhed up things for the adults. But if sweets are more your speed, you're in luck, because on the island they have all you care to enjoy soft serve.
And pro tip, get chocolate chip cookies and make a Sammy.
That is the most consistent pro tip, to go ahead and grab those chocolate chip cookies and make a Sammy. She's grabbing fruit right now, but we are headed back onto the ship because today is the last day aboard this treasure. So we are headed back to the Festival of Foods.
Yes, as Alan said, we are opting to go eat at Feastival. Cookies is fine, don't get me wrong, I typically enjoy it, but the Feastival of Foods is truly where it's at. But I did want to point out that as we're walking back towards the treasure, this is always a good view of the stern of the ship. Each Disney ship has different characters on the back, and on the treasure, it's Peter Pan and Captain Hook. On the Wish, it's Rapunzel. On the upcoming Destiny, it's going to be Spitterin. Goofy is on the Disney Magic, Donald and Huey are on the Disney Wonder, Dumbo's on the Disney Fantasy, and Sorcerer Mickey with his broomsticks from Fantasia are on the Disney Dream. So this is always such a beautiful view, not only of the treasure, but of Castaway. So stunning. The water is so gorgeous, and you can just take in the beauty of the ship. Found an even better view of the stern right here from the Marge's Barge's balcony. And last thing I'll say about Castaway before we get back on the treasure is that a lot of these activities do require advanced reservations because they will book up. Our travel agent, who booked not only this cruise but books all of our cruises, always books what we want. She's booked the parasailing, the Stingray. Next time I'm going to ask for a jet ski, and I always ask for a cabana, which unfortunately books up before we ever are eligible to do it because we are Gold Castaway Club at this point, and it goes by tier status. So the higher levels and concierge guests always get them. But one of these days, we will get a cabana, I just know it. But that's another great reason to work with the travel agent, because they can book all of these things for you as soon as possible to make sure you have the best Castaway day ever.
Back aboard, we went to the rainforest room for a little bit to luxuriate, did some R&R in the RR, if you will.
Nice.
Got some Donald's Cantina and watched Finding Dory on the pool deck, and now we have zhuzhed and are ready for our afternoon.
We're gonna start with coffee and then headed to see the Tale of Moana on its matinee showing. It's the 3 p.m. showing.
Yeah, we figured the 3 p.m. showing will have less people than the 6 or the 8:15 showing, which they've started doing 3 p.m. showings of the theater shows while we've been here. I didn't know they did that, so excited to go see it and cry dramatically.
1,000 tears. But first, coffee.
Also, pro tip, whilst we were luxuriating at the Rainforest Room, I went ahead and booked our placeholder for a future Disney Cruise Line cruise. This is an exclusive offer that you can only book through the Disney Cruise Line app while you're actively connected to the Wi-Fi on the ship. For a $250 deposit, you get a 10% discount on future cruises, and it's good for cruises that start within the 2 years following when you book it. So if you're looking at a Treasure cruise, which is pretty pricey, an Alaska cruise, which can be pretty pricey, or any Disney Cruise Line sailing, if you had fun on the one you're on, let's just say I don't get off a ship without booking one, because I know another one's coming. Disney The Tale of Moana is a brand new stage show that debuted here on the Treasure, and it's actually the first of the major 3 stage shows we're seeing on this cruise. There's also Disney Seas the Adventure as well as Beauty and the Beast, and I like both those shows. I like Seas the Adventure a lot more. It's one of those what I call montage shows where there's like a bunch of different characters in it and a bunch of different music. Beauty and the Beast isn't my favorite, I'm going to be honest with you. The casts I've seen have been great. Of course, the music in Beauty and the Beast is great. It's just a little long for me, and it's based on the live action, not the classic cartoon. I typically tend to like the montage shows better, but the exception is Tale of Moana. It is phenomenal. When we were on our media cruise, we actually got a chance to meet and learn some dance moves from the choreographer, who is Samoan and Hawaiian. A lot of the cast is Hawaiian. It's just so stunningly beautiful. and I've been looking forward to seeing this again, and it's here on our last night, like since we saw it the first time. I can't wait.
Yeah, it turns out that show is still really good.
Yeah.
I'm not well yet.
There's a line where the sky meets the sea and it calls me. And no one knows how far it goes. Sky behind me. You know how far I'll
But thankfully we're on a really cushy couch here.
Yeah, that show, the joy and energy and passion coming from all the performers,
It's so clear.
it's like, it's the best. Like I said, we haven't seen the other two just because we can't film the shows, and we've seen the other ones and we chose to prioritize doing new things and sharing
We want to
different
see the
things.
ship and show you all the ship too.
But there's no way
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
not missing that.
show.
No, I'm kind of.
I'm thinking about going back
I'm
for
hoping
the
we go to
6th.
the 6 o'clock show, if I'm being honest. Yeah, it's incredible. I just, again, major shouts out to, I love Grandma Tala, the character in this. Her
she's
as the
so
narrator. For 1 minute, making you laugh. The next minute, my heart is just ripped out. So
The vocal performances are unbelievable.
the choreography throughout, top to bottom, I just want to give a massive hats off to all of the performers
Yeah.
executing that choreography. It's stunning.
The talent on display is unreal. The theater shows are one of the things that really set Disney apart as a cruise line, but this is the best one.
And I don't think it's particularly close.
Period. It's amazing.
All right, but while we recover emotionally, why not do it with a bit of a mini game moment?
Minigame.
Nice.
We are gonna play Winner Picks Dinner. Except for it's more like Winner Picks Afternoon Snacks.
Yeah. Winner picks 11sies.
Afternoon tea.
What about second breakfast?
Don't think he knows about second breakfast. Anyway, we
Yeah.
are going to do a little mini game of Winner Picks Dinner. This is the game where we decide what to eat based on rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
I am terrible at it, but maybe 2025 is my year.
Maybe. Mathematically, it would be time.
It doesn't seem to matter.
But instead of doing the normal 5 rounds, we're going to do 3 rounds of this game for drinks, sweets, and something savory to eat.
Yes, and whoever wins, it doesn't matter the order, whoever wins the first round can pick what they want to do, and so on and so forth. But let's see how this works on the ocean.
Have some confidence. Okay. There's the aforementioned lamp.
And I'm hoping it grants me powers.
It grants you this wish.
I'm gonna rub it just for good luck. Okay,
It feels like outside interference.
you got me, Lamb.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Okay, are you sure?
Yep.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors,
shoot.
Thank you, Lamb. I got distracted. Hi, Minnie.
How are we today?
How is your outfit is so cute, just
thank
for the
you.
treasure.
Yes,
You're
of
out
course.
adventuring.
Yes.
Did you
Trying to find all
adventure on the
treasure.
island? You did. What did you do? You
Oh,
look,
she
you
was
looked
looking
out
out for
you looked-
treasure,
Yeah,
yes.
looking for treasure, some fish. Did you see any sharks?
Oh,
No,
no.
I love
it's okay.
sharks. No, I was hoping
you
you
do?
had. I
Oh,
wouldn't have been scared.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
don't
Nice. I know, Minnie's a little bit terrified of sharks.
That's okay. They're
Yes.
mostly friendly. I saw Goofy and I saw Donald. I did see a pirate out there though.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I saw Captain Hook. He was on the island.
Oh.
Yeah, you better watch
Was he
out
trying
for
to steal
him.
people's treasure?
He was looking for and he was looking for Peter Pan.
Oh, no. Oh, I hope he's
I know.
safe.
Yeah, it's classic.
I know.
I love this outfit though so much.
Oh,
Minnie. You look
thank
so
you. She made it
fabulous.
herself?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you are so talented. I'm just
Aw,
always
thank you.
amazed. Can we take a picture? How should we pose like an adventurer?
Oh,
Okay.
right there. There you go. Perfect.
And we
Oh, there you go.
we go.
Y'all, there's literally no one in line for Adventure Minnie right now. Like, she's just hanging out over there. We were down there. I was getting ready to conspire what round I wanted, and I saw her in this outfit, and I literally gasped and ran up here because this outfit,
The gasp, she gusped.
I did a gusp. This outfit is special, brand new, debuted for the treasure, and I hadn't seen it since the media preview like a year ago. So, she's so cute. Okay, with my victory, and history shows that it will probably be my only victory because somehow that's how the math works. I should really think about this. I'm gonna pick the drinks round. That's the easy decision because drinks is the most competitive because there's the most cool places on this ship to get a drink. I could go to Skipper Society, the Jungle Cruise themed lounge. I could go to Periscope Pub, the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea themed lounge. I could go, I don't think the Rose, the Beauty and the Beast themed lounge is open quite yet, and I also wouldn't feel right in this outfit. The pool bars. I could go to Jade Cricket, the Mulan themed coffee shop that had that really good tea cocktail. But I think there's two places I've narrowed it down to. The place that is undeniably the coolest setting, but I don't love the drinks, or the place that undeniably has the best cocktails on board, but isn't the Haunted Mansion parlor. Haunted Mansion, Hooks. Hooks. I pick Hooks.
Thank you. Thank you. This is objectively correct. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, it's... Look at Pua. He's so cute. He's so much better than Hey Hey. Honestly, I like the Moana stage play better than the movie because they cut the coconuts and they cut Hey Hey, which are the worst two parts of the movie. I said what I said.
Alan Tudyk would be so
Alan Tudyk would be so upset. That's all right. Now, undeniably, Haunted Mansion Parlor is the coolest location on the ship. It is, like, unbelievable. It's like having cocktails inside the Haunted Mansion. It's amazing. But it's the drinks round. And the best cocktail I've had on board, I had on night one right here at Hooks Barbary. Because whilst this is a barber shop, it is also a secret speakeasy bourbon and whiskey bar. In the afternoons only, they have very high-end scotches, bourbons, whiskeys of all varieties, where they will make you an old-fashioned to your liking, or you can have it on the rocks or neat. They have some incredibly expensive pours that you actually get a little souvenir medallion. Plus, it's themed to Peter Pan in here, which is pretty cool. You've got a lot of Captain Hook nods and a lot of Peter Pan nods, including some Mary Blair concept art from the film. So I think it's a pretty good spot to have a cocktail. All right, so surprise to no one, I got an old-fashioned. This is what Abby made me on our first night aboard the ship, and it was the best cocktail, far and away. So he made it for me again. It's a masterpiece. It's an art watching him make a cocktail. There's orange, there's filthy cherry, there were peach bitters. He spritzed a perfume on it, he smoked it, and he's using a higher proof Old Forester bourbon, which he is a cocktail genius and said that higher proof bourbons make it less sweet, which is what I said I wanted. Cheers. It's so good. It's, I think, the best old fashions I've ever had have been in Hooks Barbary because you have a bartender that knows what they're talking about. They can customize it to your flavor. It is just such a treat in here. I love it. I love it so much, and I love this cocktail so much. So I'm definitely not regretting choosing Hooks.
And I've decided to do a late Christmas gift to myself. I've promised that I wanted to continue to try to expand my palate and try new whiskeys and scotches. And at Hooks Barbary, they have something where it's a library of very high reserve pours that you can get at cost that come with a coin. This was by no means the most expensive item in that book. I mean, there's a pour that's $2,500, which, listen, I've never spent that amount of money on myself ever, and I certainly can't imagine doing it for a pour. So, but this one, I would say 29-year-old Scotch. It is the Glendronach Kingsman. And in that vein, this is 29 years old, a very old age Scotch. Tinkerbell's still here, flying through the lanterns. I've got myself my coin from the Disney treasure. I'll treasure it. Cheers. I'm trying to not be super pretentious about this. This is so good. Smoky. Tastes a little bit like raisins. Leather. I am by no means an expert in this, but as an avid fan of the creation of whiskeys, bourbons, scotch, Irish whiskeys, this is what a fun, unique way to expand your palate and like have a nice keepsake too. So I'll take that L.
Okay, I just realized a complaint I have.
Tell me.
Hooks Barbary is the barber shop. The idea is you come in, you have a shave, you have a haircut, you get a scotch, right? Why doesn't something like this exist at the Untangled Salon?
I think they have champagne.
there's not like a champagne bar,
No, that is not a
secret
bar.
champagne bar in the Untangled Salon. I don't even know if you can get champagne there.
You can.
How do you know?
Because when you walk by, they have a champagne and wine, like sparkling wine, out in the cooler. But I agree with you. It's not like a
That makes it a little better. But I would like to say that the ladies going to the Untangled Salon deserve a cool experience,
You
just
do.
like the gentlemen coming here to Hooks.
You do.
Because it seems to be a lot to like, people are like, oh, my kids are at the kids club, I'm gonna have a bourbon. And it's like, I love that for you, but doesn't mom get us something? Disney, if you're watching, which you're not, but if you are, put a champagne bar, like a full situation in the ladies' salon. Well, that was phenomenal as always. Also, shout out to Abby, the bartender in there. He did our tasting class yesterday. He's so knowledgeable, and he demonstrated this crazy cool machine that is made by McKellen, specifically to pour McKellen, which was like a $300 pour of whiskey that we were not purchasing, but he showed it to us, and it was so cool. It's just some champagne in a bucket. Now, I do want to point out the beautiful details of like the flowers holding the curtains and the sun from Corona and Pascal on the door and the beautiful, the flower being the light. Yeah, this is all beautiful, well and good, but I'm just saying it's unfair that the men's salon has a full bar and the women get 3 bottles of champagne in a bucket. It's really loud, but here we go.
Ready?
Short-lived. It was short-lived.
I'm holding Molly's phone. That's irrelevant. We did meet Sage and Coriander between rounds. They are delightful, and what wonderful storytellers they are, and it's been fantastic to see them across the ship throughout this entire sailing as they've told a myriad of stories, played a myriad of roles. Looking at you, Coriander. It's just been awesome. So it was really nice to be able to meet them as well, and look at their outfits that are so detailed and intricate.
Hello! How are you?
How are you?
Good.
He hand-painted 101 spots.
Oh,
on this cake
inspired.
That transformed into cherry blossoms to honor the warrior Mulan.
Coriander did. She painted this beautiful
Oh,
landscape.
it's Paris!
On my fingers.
Oui,
The Parisian
oui.
landscape from the tale of the 3 kittens.
Oh, I do
Stolen
love
by the
those
butler.
kittens.
Everybody
Yes.
wants to be.
On
Yeah.
cat.
Wait, what's up with the? Is that
Now,
Flora, Fauna, and Merriweather?
you're spot on. You're spot
Is
on.
that bowler hat guy?
This is Bowler Hat from which movie?
Meet the Robinsons.
Meet the Robinsons. And then this
Oh, that's Lady.
lady, don't tell her I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then this.
Is that Empress of the Groove?
Come on, he's supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
And then right here,
His mini palace.
this is an old deep cut right here.
Okay.
The sword in the stone.
Yep.
Those are his bits and bobs.
Yeah, tell me
Now,
about
I do love.
Oh, from Corona.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. To London, we heard the story of Peter Pan, so this points to the second star of the right and straight on till morning.
Good, good.
We all know this one.
Oh, Beauty and
They
the
told the
Beast.
story yesterday.
Yes.
I like this one. Can we
that-
all make the Tarzan sound together? Ready?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh!
that was beautiful.
That was amazing.
But having won the round, I'm gonna go with sweets. Because I think that's just like a fun little thing to explore. So we could go to Skipper Society where we just played our game, and there's a great band performing right now, because they have a waffle, the apple cinnamon waffle. It's delicious, and I might want another one. We could also go to Mini Sweets where they have soft serve and fruits, which I guess are like nature's desserts.
All right, Chris Traeger.
But I think where I want to go, because we have not been yet on this cruise, is Jumbo Sweets. And there are 31 flavors of ice cream and gelato.
And we're gonna try all 31 right now.
You know I've been trying to do, I want to do that. You want to see it. Not right now, because I imagine the tummy upset.
We're not gonna try 31 flavors of ice cream.
I think it's a great idea.
For whose tummy?
Ours!
So long, Forky. Forky? Who's watching the doors? He's not lost. Not anymore. To infinity and beyond.
You always seem to enter the deck when emotional trauma is happening on the funnel vision.
How
But
does Pixar do that?
every time. Now we are, speaking of some emotional trauma, we are headed into Jumbo's, which is a sweet shop inspired by Zootopia. Within the film, Zootopia was run by elephants, which would explain all of the elephant and trunk imagery everywhere. And these sweets are highlighted by, first of all, let's take a look at this beautiful mural outside that shows Zootopia and represents all the different biomes found within Zootopia. But Jumbo's Sweets has not only a variety of the prepackaged sweets you would sort of expect from a Disney sweet shop. I think the real highlight here is the 31 flavors of both ice cream and gelato. Also, look at this. You have a little rodent entrance here at the bottom of the shop. That's pretty nuts. Inside the shop, there are so many more details. Again, here's the exit for all of our rodent friends. And if you check out our lemmings here who have their popsicles. Here on the wall, you have a map that is filled with a variety of different locations that shows you all of the bus lines throughout Zootopia with some really cool names like Snowball Drive found in Tundra Town, or Vapor Road found in the Meadowlands and the Rainforest. You've got Moss Street or Precipitation Street. Downtown, pretty normal names, Peak, Hill. In Sahara Square, Agave Avenue or Aloe Avenue, things that aloe you'll need after being in the Sahara and getting sunburned. Anyway, this entire map is just incredibly detailed, and that speaks to the level of detail that is found throughout this shop. Of course, you have Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps with their massive scoop of ice cream, hopefully this time done by a gloved trunk, right? So that way Officer Judy doesn't have to book him at all. Outside of those prepackaged, you have a variety of other items, like some chocolate dipped marshmallows, Christmas cookies, brownies, some macarons, chocolate dipped strawberries, and some Sahara squares, which are, to me, look a little bit like cupcakes that are in a square shape. Across this countertop, you have some of Gideon Gray's blueberry pies. If you'll recall from the film, Gideon Gray is the fox that bullied Judy Hopps when she was just a baby bunny, and then started his own company making blueberry pies, working with other rabbits after, going to therapy, because therapy is for everyone.
I'm sorry, Judy. I'd allotted my own self out and manifested in being mean to other people. He sounds kind of like that. It's like he's here.
I saw him walk through. Quick update, Molly did a count. There are actually 36 flavors of ice cream and gelato here, which, those extra 5, far too many. Just not
31 we could have done.
31 we could have done easy. 35 irresponsible.
Yeah, 36.
I'm sorry, 36 irresponsible.
Over the top.
Over the top.
I chose the strawberries and chocolate gelato topped with Judy Hopps sprinkles. What makes them Judy Hopps sprinkles? I don't know. I just hope they're not made out of Judy Hopps. Also, when I was here last time, the carrot cake is very delicious. The sprinkles don't appear to be made out of rabbit, so I think we're good. It's just really nice, not artificially sweet. Delicious strawberry gelato, little crunch and chocolate chunk in there. It's lovely.
I chose the cookies and cream gelato just because I was feeling indecisive, and this is a classic flavor.
For the record, that's my fault.
Yep. Really excellent texture of the gelato, very, very smooth and silky, with chunks of chocolate cookie, some chunks of cream in there as well. Cookies and cream is always a banger flavor.
We're tied 1-1.
That's true.
Last round.
Ready?
Yep. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, how interesting. Ready? Oh, you're already in it.
Okay.
Now are you ready?
Yeah. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, how very intriguing. A game is the foot.
Ready?
Are you ready?
Yeah. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ow!
Now, you could go wild for Jumbo Sweets, or beat the heat of Jumbo Sweets, or maybe have some Sub-Zero snacks. But we've already done that. And now it's time for the savory round. We could, if we wanted to, we could go back out to Mickey's Festival of Foods. I'm sorry, Molly. Mickey's Feastival of Foods.
Yeah, throw me this bone.
You can enjoy any number of those, like Goofy's Grill, Donald's Cantina, Mickey Smokestack Barbecue. But in lieu of doing that, let's go under the sea back up to Periscope Pub because the food there, quite tasty. Periscope Pub is the, well, pub, aptly named here on the Disney Treasure. It is where the keg and compass would be on the Disney Wish, and it is themed here to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. You can see that as soon as you walk inside with the steampunk submarine vibe, also down the hatch greets you as you enter. Inside Periscope Pub, they will be playing any number of sports for your viewing pleasure. On this cruise, it has been largely the NFL and NCAA, as the NCAA has moved into its college football playoffs. But if you look around, there are a whole host of Easter eggs and references to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea that you can see here, from the Nautilus itself all the way down to these fun scrolls that are listed on the side. You have some of the great weighted shoes that take you to the bottom of the ocean. Held inside these jars are various different samples from creatures, flora and fauna found at the ocean floor, as well as a scuba, an old-timey under-the-sea scuba helmet, some coral and shells, as well as the great squid below the depths.
I think my favorite Easter egg in this pub, though, is the fact that since we're in the submarine, if you look above us, you'll see different fish swimming, and those were actually screencast from the aquarium in the seas in Epcot. So if you're like, wow, that hammerhead looks familiar, maybe you saw it when visiting Mr. Eel. Shame he's not up here, though. At least not that I've seen. Taking a look at the menu, they do have a few cocktails. I can recommend the Aldous Daiquiri, which I had on the preview cruise, which comes served with a bubble, but they're definitely known for beer and mead here. They've got a bunch of different things on tap, including 3 exclusive beers you can't get anywhere but Periscope Pub in the whole widest world, and why we're here mainly for pub grub. This is add-on food, elevated bar bites like wings, tachos, fish and chips, and a very good burger that we had the other day. I can definitely recommend it.
All right, we did order food, but we also picked up 2 of the last remaining exclusive beers on the Disney Treasure, because not only was this mini game a side quest, we had a side quest to the side quest, and that was to try all of the Treasure exclusive beers. Now on the right, that is the Submariner Stout, and boy, is she dark and thick. And I'm excited to give that a try. And then we have the Flappin' Fish Ghosts, which I'm given to understand from our wonderful server Maria is a watermelon ghost.
The coolest thing about this beer is the tap, because it is a fish that was inspired by the other pubs on some of the other ships. Most importantly, it's dressed like Kurt Russell when he sings Whale of a Tale in 20,000 Leagues. Oh, whale of a tale, I'll tell you that. A whale of a tale or two. All right, she's tart for sure, so if you don't expect a sour beer, which it is, you'll be caught off guard. But it definitely has watermelon flavor. It's light, it's refreshing. I'm fine with this, actually.
As previously mentioned, this beer looks both dark and thick.
2 C's.
Ooh, and she is. Woo. Very thick, fills up the mouth, but a silky smooth finish. Chocolate and oatmeal flavor. If you are a stout enjoyer, this is a classic stout, so this is going to be right up your alley. It's a meal, though, in and of itself. For our pre-dinner entree, because yes, that's right, we still have dinner this evening back in 1923, we picked up the German pretzel. This is a giant, and that is an accurate description, Bavarian pretzel baked, soft on the inside, crispy on the outside, and salted. Served with German mustard and beer cheese. We've heard nothing but good things about this pretzel, and just seeing how buttery it is on the exterior, I'm salivating. I don't know if that's too much information, but I'm telling it to you right now anyway.
This is my face.
Yeah, a cheeseburger, but with just American cheese on it, nothing.
It's a good pretzel. The mustard is sweet, and then it ends spicy. That's very unique. That's not like the other mustards that are on the other pretzels. And now the beer cheese, yeah, that's a pretty standard beer cheese. I'm a bigger fan of the mustard, if I'm being honest. It's so unique. The pretzel, buttery, crispy, a little salty, fluffy on the interior. What a good pre-dinner snack. All right, well, minigame has been completed, and now we need to go change for our final dinner.
Aww.
Yeah, I know, when you put it that way, it does get kind of sad.
It's sad.
It's at 1923, so we will see you when we're nice and changed.
All right, we are dressed and ready for dinner, but before we go, little pro tip about sailing Disney Cruise Line. We have filled out our gratuity envelopes. You can choose to prepay for gratuity, which I do recommend just because you've done it, you're good to go. And then they're gonna give you this piece of paper that's got little strips on it, which is the allotted amount they prepay. This is for your server, your assistant server, and your head server at rotational dining, as well as your room attendant. And then you put those little strips of paper, or just cash if you don't do that, into the little envelopes, and you can give it to those crew members. And then if you want to leave extra, you can do that as well. So we are taking these to dinner for our serving team, and we already gave Wisnu, who was our room attendant, his.
But for now, we are headed down to Skipper Society to catch some live music before our final bit of rotational dining at 1923.
Who doesn't love a little Beatles music? Fun fact about me, I once sang karaoke in front of a bunch of people at Kings Island in Cincinnati. The song I chose, A Hard Day's Night. Anyway, now we have our second night at 1923, so excited to explore that new menu. This is the restaurant themed to Walt and Roy Disney, who started the Disney Brothers Studios in 1923, and it features almost 1,000 different paintings, sketches, props, and more from different Disney movies. So it's a really cool restaurant to check out.
Tonight's menu of 1923 starts off with the appetizers, like a double-baked 3-cheese souffle and some baked oysters. Salads like the baby iceberg salad, 2 soups from the kettle like a white onion soup and a braised oxtail soup, and then a wide selection of entrees, anything from an oven-baked lobster tail to a Californian Riesling risotto. And then, as on every menu, there are some lighter notes.
The bread service tonight was sourdough bread with rosemary and olive oil for dipping. This is pretty good. Nice crusty rolls, love rosemary flavor, simple but tasty.
My appetizer was sliced prosciutto, capa, and sopressata. This is paired with Medina balsamic grape tomatoes, a rosemary sea salt crisp, and Parmesan Reggiano cheese. If this sounds like a charcuterie board to you, that's because that's exactly what it is. The meat was nice. It was some good Italian meat selections paired with a nice aged Parmesan cheese. I used this as a way to eat the remainder of the bread service bread that we didn't really get to.
I went for the double-baked 3-cheese souffle, which was made with Roquefort, Gruyere, and goat cheese, as well as baby leaf spinach. This was delicious. It tasted like a very cheesy quiche. That's what the texture reminded me of. But no, it will definitely not be for everyone if you don't like that eggy, soft texture. The sauce was very rich and creamy. Couldn't really taste the Roquefort cheese, but overall, a very cheesy, tasty bite.
For my from the kettle option, I got the braised oxtail soup, made with roasted sweet carrots, celery, pickled thyme, and porcini tortellini. This had a deep and rich flavor with the carrots and celery adding a little bit of textural contrast. Overall, this was very meaty and rich. The oxtail was clearly cooked for a long time, though it was still a little bit tougher than I am used to or would like. Overall, I did like the rich depth of meaty flavor from the soup, and the cheese tortellini was a nice textural contrast and flavor change.
I decided to try a soup tonight as well and went for the white onion soup, which is made with Comté cheese, toasted caraway seeds, and French bread croutons. And it was topped with some fresh black pepper. It had a nice and mild onion flavor. Definitely glad I added the pepper, and there were some hints of that cheese coming through. Honestly, it was a nice mild soup, but I do wish it had a few more croutons for the crunch.
Next up, I had the baby iceberg salad. This is made with red and yellow cherry tomatoes, scallions, crisp spiced chickpeas, and sumac tahini ranch dressing. This was a Judy Hopps amount of lettuce with the nice sumac tahini ranch dressing. The star of the show, though, was the roasted chickpeas that were smoky with a little extra spice and added a good texture change.
Entrees were up next, and I went for the seared pork tenderloin medallions. These came with an Asiago cheese and sage polenta, rainbow chard, pancetta, and a hard cider reduction. Honestly, the pork tasted better than it looked. It was a little dry, as pork can often be, but overall it had a good but mild flavor. The polenta was nice and cheesy, and I did enjoy the salty pancetta to help mix up the bites and add a little bit of extra flavor. I don't really care for chard. I think it's pretty bitter, and this was no exception. Overall, this dish was fine, but it's not something I would order again.
And I picked up the roasted green circle chicken breast that came with tagliatelle, grappa, morel mushrooms, tarragon cream, green asparagus, and Parmesan Reggiano cheese. The chicken was cooked just fine. It wasn't overcooked and dry, but it wasn't the most moist chicken I've ever had. It had a good pan-sear on the outside, though, to give it some crispness. The pasta was the star of the show, and the mushroom flavor shines through, so if you aren't a fan of mushrooms, I wouldn't get this. It has some good umami flavor with a touch of the earthiness along with some well-cooked asparagus on the side. Overall, though, this is, bar none, the best entree that I have had at 1923.
Taking a look at the very fun illustrated dessert menu, you have things like a Californian grapefruit cake, the Captain's Table sundae, and the signature chocolate lava cake. I couldn't decide between the old-fashioned apple pie or the raspberry vanilla creme brulee, and I told Natasha to surprise me, so she surprised me with both. Probably not surprising when you're on a cruise. The old-fashioned apple pie was made with braised cinnamon apples and served a la mode with vanilla ice cream. This was definitely the winner. The crust was nice and soft, the apples were very flavorful, loved the cinnamon addition, and always loved breaking up pie with a classic vanilla ice cream. Overall, nothing super unique, but just a good classic dish. The raspberry vanilla creme brulee is served with lemon almond biscotti. This was fine. I like creme brulee a lot, but it didn't blow me away. I wish it had more raspberry and lemon flavor, but if you like creme brulee, this one's good, but in the future, I'd stick with the apple pie.
And for my dessert, I picked up the chocolate lava cake with a double chocolate sauce and vanilla ice cream. And boy, was this rich and decadent. The center of it was just ooey and gooey, and the vanilla ice cream on top gave it just enough of a textural, flavoral, and temperature breakup that made this nice and balanced without being too heavy. I think without the vanilla ice cream though, this would be way too heavy for me. But I am also a chocolate enjoyer, so if you really, really like chocolate, this is gonna be right up your alley. Overall, 1923 continues to be one of the better rotational dining menus, although I have to say I did like Night 1's menu more. There were some highlights tonight, but overall, I just like that menu better. Hi.
We went up all the stairs.
We definitely didn't run, we ran, yeah.
Dinner, delicious as always. I really enjoyed that restaurant. We got to thank our wonderful serving team that we have had this whole time. And now, the last major thing on a Disney cruise is the goodbye party. It's the sad part.
So we are going to head to Treasure Found, which is, not only is it a goodbye party, but is an unofficial character palooza, where if you have maybe missed your favorite characters throughout this cruise, you have about 15 minutes, give or take, to scurry off and find them and take a quick photo. We're going to do that, hopefully meet a couple of friends, and then come back and give our final thoughts on this cruise.
Travelers! It is time. Sage, we got it the first 2 times. Are you a little lightheaded?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it good?
Was he good?
Thank you.
Adventurers, okay, relax. Adventurers and treasure seekers, your journey is approaching its end, and you have come. Shall we dial it back? Too bad. But you've come so far. You've unlocked so many incredible moments. But did you find your treasure?
Did you? Did all of you?
Trained alongside the world's greatest heroes.
And chosen lastly, the globe-trotting archaeologist.
And strange lightning sounds echo through the halls.
And wrapped in a celebration of a lifetime.
That's it! Huzzah! You found me, my friends! There they are. Better than gold, stronger than diamonds, more valuable than any prize in the universe. Your memories.
Well, first of all, a record, I think, for us. 7 characters in the Character Palooza. Pretty impressive.
We were able to knock out a bunch of characters.
One thing I'll say, though, is they didn't announce that there was going to be a show
Yeah.
or that there were character meet and greets. They just were like, here's some friends. And then if you knew what was going on, you knew what to do. But if not, a lot of people were confused. So there is a show. A lot of people were like, oh, it's just meet and greets. I'm going to leave. And I was like, no, don't.
Hey, don't go. We'd
don't-
stay for a
don't,
show. There's going to
please.
be one. Just hang out.
It was also a little bit longer than normal. I think it was closer to 20 minutes
minutes.
versus 15. But again, we got 7 characters, which is a pretty great way to end. And a nice little show, which includes like the light up effects and another character appearance. Overall, Treasure Found is not my favorite of the goodbye shows that are on the Disney Cruise Line, but it is still a very nice way to put a bow on your beautiful trip. And you know what? It's true, Alan. The treasure was inside us all along.
I thought the treasure was the memories we made along the way.
Something like that.
Okay, well, speaking of the memories, let's talk about
treasure.
Let's talk about the pros and cons of sailing on the Disney Treasure. Let's start with some of the things that are maybe not so great, and then move into the things that are better.
I think for me, the biggest con of this ship, we said it on the preview cruise, my opinion did not change with the ship getting more full, is the adult pool area. It is very small. It's the same layout as the Wish. There's only one hot tub up there and it's underneath the Aquamouse. There's not a ton of space. The pool area, there's not a ton of like the water space. It's much, much smaller compared to even the Magic and the Wonders area. So for me, an adult without kids who wants to luxuriate there on my sea days, that's a con for me.
Speaking of space in general, I think this cruise, just because of how new the Disney Treasure is and how popular the bookings are, I think space in general at times was an issue. Not all the time, but you could tell particularly on days at sea, for example, or when everybody was getting back onto the ship from their excursions or days at port, that the popular high traffic areas were very crowded.
Read the Haunted Mansion Parlor.
Yes, the Haunted Mansion Parlor. But that's not to say that if we wanted to have space to maybe for us go and find somewhere quiet, those spaces we could go and find, it would just maybe be a little bit more out of the way.
And I will say, I was pleasantly surprised by the Haunted Mansion Parlor. Yes, there were times it was too crowded for my liking in there, but we got in there basically every night without many other people, and they never had to enforce a wait time that we saw. They never had to have you on a reservation list, which a lot of people were like, what's going to happen? It's going to be so popular. So while it did feel crowded on the ship at times with like everyone at the pirate party,
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised that we were able to always find a quiet place to go.
Even if it meant maybe later at night, but we're night gremlins, so that's fine.
True.
I'll also say that for this sailing in particular, and we talked about it a little bit today at Castaway Cay, the weather was not maybe as ideal or, quote, perfect, unquote, as we have had in the past for sailings. Although that does happen, as we mentioned before, typically in that March, April time, and then around September, October, when you're sailing, specifically on the Caribbean sailings.
Yeah, the summer obviously is really, really, really hot to the point
Yeah.
that it can almost be uncomfortable. And in the winter, it's not cold by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a little bit more variable. So when I'm looking at future cruises, this is not the time of year I'm going to prioritize. And the last con, this is a very niche con. I don't like the rainforest room on this ship as much as the one on the Dream and Fantasy, solely because the hot tubs do not have a view outside.
Oh, what a first world problem we're having.
It's such a niche problem. The rainforest room is amazing, and I love it so
When
much.
I luxuriate in hot, bubbling water, I can't stare at water that is
we went
not
there-
hot or bubbling.
When we went there today, I wished we had a view of Castaway, which
Perish the thought.
you do get on the Dream. So that is so niche, but
They
you
have
know,
ivy in the walls. Oh no.
it's fake ivy. We are here to give you our feedback.
All right, so all that said, let's talk about some of the pros of sailing on the Treasure, because there are a lot, and we are going to do our best. I'm just going to speak for me. I'm going to do my best to not wax poetic, but let's get the first one out of the way fast. Parks being represented on a cruise ship was a long time coming, too long, frankly. And this ship feels a lot like a love letter to the Disney parks now floating on the ocean, and it is incredible.
The Haunted Mansion Parlor in particular is I think, the best lounge I've ever been to, and I don't even like the cocktails there. I just think the amount of detail and Easter eggs and just the experience of being in there and not knowing what's going to happen, it is just the coolest lounge, and I could spend hours, and did cumulatively across the last 7 days in there.
Spend a lot of time. And I think that the details in the Haunted Mansion also apply to the other spaces that exist throughout the ship. Everywhere you see a ton of detail. So many Easter eggs that are represented not only to maybe the cruise line, but also to Disney history in general. And that is found throughout the ship. And it just felt, to me, more this time than maybe sailing even on the Wish. It just felt more apparent that there's so much detail poured into the ship.
Yeah, I felt like everywhere we went, whether it be Marceline Market for breakfast, the rotational restaurants, there's just something to look at and something to awe over, whether it be an Easter egg or it just be like an incredibly ornate, beautiful light fixture. It's just a stunning ship.
Yeah. It's also really hard to not mention Moana as, oh my gosh, just, at least for me, hands down, the best stage production I've seen on a Disney cruise ship.
It is one of the best stage productions I've ever seen Disney do, period. The Tale of Moana is incredible. You can tell how passionate the cast feels about it. We talked about it already today, but that to me is like almost worth booking a sailing alone just to see that show.
And let me tell you, the fact that Disney waits until the last day
Honestly rude.
is, what? No. I mean, I get it, the build-up, but rude.
Tale of Moana isn't the only incredible entertainment on the ship. I loved that color spin dance party, which I know is on other ships too. I just had never seen it, and that was incredible. But also the way that they have immersive entertainment throughout the ship with the Jungle Cruise Adventure, with the Indiana Jones show, basically anything Sage and Coriander are in.
Sage and Coriander, I just think it's so interesting that we had it a little bit on the Disney Wish, where you do have these two performers who sort of guide you through.
They're like royal storyteller type.
But this feels like those roles have been expanded on even more, and it's making all of the entertainment meant to be immersive and get you into the stories that are being told on this ship while you're here for 7 days. And I think that's really cool to see. I personally hope to see more of that in the future.
Also, and maybe it was just our good luck on this ship, but I felt like there was more immersive character experiences as well.
Yeah.
Multiple times we just wandered about into characters, which I haven't had that happen as much recently on the other ships. Like watching Peter plan a game of hide and seek with some small children. You see what I did there?
I did. Hey, hold on.
Yeah. Truly magical, and there were multiple times where we just ran into character. Captain Hook was on the gangway when we got off the ship today, so it just felt like that spontaneous magic where you didn't know it was going to happen. We saw Aladdin and Jasmine walk through the lobby. Like, it just felt very, very special, and magic could come true around every corner. Obviously, a big part of a cruise is eating.
Go figure. We haven't done any of that.
To the point where you are so full and you just want to eat a salad and have a detox tea. But the food on the Treasure, I think, overall is the best food on the Disney fleet. Speaking of the rotational dining, normally for me, there's one that I really like, probably for entertainment, and then there's one I generally like the menu at the most, but not all three are winners. And in my opinion, I think all three are pretty good, with the highlights definitely being the menus at 1923 and the experience at Plaza de Coco.
I can agree. Worlds of Marvel is fine. If you are a big Marvel fan, then obviously those spaces are really going to draw you in. Outside of that, though, I think the menus on those, maybe not the best. I think second night menu was more of a surprise than I anticipated it being. But even so, I agree with your assessment there.
I would take a Worlds of Marvel over, though, like a Lumiere's or a Triton's, which is kind of just a generic feeling restaurant. At least to me, Worlds of Marvel is something different and very immersive.
Fully. I couldn't agree more. I also want to say that the quick service on the Treasure, just like on the Disney Wish, is elevated and better than other quick service that I've had on Disney cruise ships. I mean, we've been on every one but the Fantasy thus far. So to me, the Treasure and the Wish are the gold standard of the quick service options that you're going to have. And the highlight of that is, of course,
Festival of Foods. But
Festival of Foods.
Marceline Market's really nice as well. I like it way more than Cabana's. And of course, no Disney cruise ship is complete without Palo. loved our experience there again. Love Enchante again. Love the Rose again. Just beautiful, elegant restaurants, incredible service, incredible dining experiences. Not any different than the Wish and Palo for us wasn't any different than brunches we've had on other ships, but I would be remiss if I did not mention how wonderful those are.
We'd be even more remiss if we didn't mention the folks who make this entire experience possible. You can have the greatest food, you can have the greatest ambiance, but it really is the people and the crew that make this all go, and they were impeccable. We talked about this over dinner tonight, where it felt like Disney really brought all of their A game and the A cast from across their fleet of cruise ships here onto the Treasure. And sure, we have a number of folks that we want to highlight and thank specifically for making our experience great, but even just watching crew interactions with other guests, whether it be at dining or just a random interaction out in the ship itself, they were all A+ from what we saw, where it was just crew making magic left and right, and it was really, really cool to see.
Now, of course, we were on the media cruise and we thanked a list of people then. Yeah. They were all wonderful and we were so excited to see them again, but we are expanding our list now with some folks that we met and made this particular cruise even better. But shout out to that crew as well, because they were still here, obviously, and still amazing.
It's almost like spending 7 additional days on a cruise ship will introduce you to more folks that you want to thank. So we're going to do that. First of all, Abby. He is an incredible bartender at Hook's Barbery, the speakeasy inside of the barber shop. Abby's knowledge is second to none in terms of what I've experienced as far as bourbon and whiskey goes. And it was just a pleasure to visit him both on our first day and our last day aboard the Disney Treasure and have him teach a tasting class for us.
He made the best cocktail I had the whole cruise. An incredible old fashioned. Speaking of cocktails, also a shout out to Javon and Lewis, who were bartenders we enjoyed getting drinks with and chatting with at the Skipper Society. They were both delightful, they were funny, made a great cocktail, and made that lounge a lot of fun.
A massive thank you to Wishnu, who was our housekeeping host and took incredible care of our stateroom and was always just a delight to talk to when we ran into him in the hallways. Just genuinely, I think, one of the most happy people who I've ever had the opportunity to speak with, and always had a smile on his face, and just, it was just a joy to interact with him.
Not to mention, he makes a mean towel animal.
Yo, towel animal game?
Very strong.
A+, very strong.
Very strong. For our rotational dining, we hadn't missed Natasha again, who we requested from our preview cruise, but our assistant server, John, both of them were incredible. John made me laugh every day by doing Parmesan Bay, where he would do the Parmesan on our food.
Incredible execution.
Both of them had great recommendations. They just amazing, and I looked forward to seeing them at dinner every night.
Speaking of servers, our 2 servers at our adult dining, Denise from Palo and Sebastian from Enchante, were amazing. Both had incredible recommendations, had deep knowledge of their menus, and were able to match a lot of our tastes to what they had available. It was just awesome to see them at work, and I deeply appreciate them both.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
That's for Sam. Sam was a bartender / barista at the Hey Hey Cafe, and that's how he greeted every single guest, to the point that it became a call and response where people of all ages would be walking past Hey Hey while we were having coffee, and they would shout Hey Hey at him, and he would shout it back, and you could see that it was fun for him. It was fun for little kids that did it.
Oh my God, the kids loved it.
He was funny. He gave great drink recommendations.
Made a mean drink.
Made a mean cocktail, and had a lot of knowledge as well, and taught us some fun facts, which we always love learning.
This one's a big one. A shout out to our late night haunted mansion parlor crew. This goes out to Carlos, Ian, Felipe, Nicola, and David. We spent most of our nights when we finished filming, and we had maybe half an hour to just exist as human beings on the ship, maybe less sometimes, to just go to the haunted mansion parlor and soak in that space. Even if it was after last call, we just wanted to be in the space. And all 5 of those individuals really made it a nice welcoming spot for us. And I just want to give them massive shout outs for chatting with us, sharing their stories, their history on Disney Cruise Line, different secrets that they knew about the parlor. They're incredible.
And just an extra shout out to all of them for working the most popular lounge.
Oh my gosh,
incredibly well, always smiling or not, because they're at the mansion. But they seemed to not be stressed out ever, which
How?
I don't know how I would be stressed working at Haunted Mansion Parlor.
That's the most even keel group
But they,
of people.
yeah, they just always, you know, made me smile. So big thank you to them as well.
And one last time I want to shout out the entertainment cast and crew on the ship. I know we talked about it earlier, but it's worth saying again, it bears repeating. What a talented group of folks putting on an incredible set of shows, whether it be the stage productions that happened in the Walt Disney Theater or the productions that happened throughout the ship, maybe on Deck 11, or just throughout the space in general. I mean, shout out again to Sage and Coriander.
The Disney's Victrophonics, both of them were incredible. Miguel at Coco, Hector, all the Rivera family at Coco was incredible. The entertainment is next level on this ship, and the cast is wonderful across the board.
You can tell that the cast have just wrapped their arms around all of these offerings and are just embracing them fully. It's amazing. All right, I think that about covers it. You know, I said I wasn't going to wax poetic, and I did.
It's hard not to with this ship. It really is something special. I don't want to speak for you, but I think it's my favorite one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's just all the things we just said. We don't need to say it again, but it tops my list of the Disney cruise ships. We only have one left to do. We haven't gotten the Fantasy Stone in our gauntlet, but sooner rather than later, wink, noise, we will be finishing our gauntlets, and we can officially rank them, but I think the treasure is really special. Yeah. I will treasure this experience forever. Lastly, wanted to thank Be Our Guest Vacations, our travel agent partners, for once again booking this cruise and all of our excursions and adult dining, as well as sponsoring the first video for this cruise. If you have watched this and you thought, I'd also like to sail on the Treasure or any other Disney cruise ship, definitely reach out to them. We have a link for them in our bio, but they are wonderful and they can provide you the best recommendations and bookings possible. And, of course, a thank you to all of you for watching.
Yes.
We really appreciate the support. I know a lot of people wanted to see what a full sailing on the Treasure was like, so hopefully this was fun and informative for you. But truly, thank you guys for watching, because we wouldn't get to do things like this without you.
Yeah, we really appreciate you. But until next time, friends, please be sure to like this video, subscribe if you are new, follow us on all of our socials, and come join us on Discord. We'd love to have you there. The links for all that is going to be down below.
And until next time, friends, I'm Molly.
And I'm Alan.
And it has truly been a treasure.
It has been.
Now, we have, to pack. But instead of doing that, do you want to go to the Haunted Mansion Parlor?
It is the tradition. That's what we do. Yeah. Okay. Bye, everybody.